Hello, everyone. I think you guys get a break after this, so yay. My name is Moncrief. I'm the VP of Commercial Affairs for Sinclair, and this is one of my favorite talks. To some of the doctors that are in here, I apologize. You may have heard me do this talk 3 or 4 times already because it's one of my favorites. And since I don't have a ton of time, I have 20 minutes, and of course I want to tell you a lot. I'm going to kind of assume that you guys know the V20, know the V10, know the V30, know what the handpieces do, because this is more of a how to combine everything that you're doing in your practice, because that really is the future, right? It's combining all modalities, not just energy-based devices. It's combining your injectables, your neurotoxin, your filler, your threads. So we're gonna kind of dive deep onto really the reasons why. So really, here's the kind of the first thing to think about is aging as a whole. Do we just get fine lines and wrinkles? No, unfortunately, we could just pop in some neurotoxin and call it a day and we're good. But unfortunately, all the cells and all of the layers of our skin start to change. We start to form hyperpigmentation. We start to get textural issues. Sure, we have fine lines and wrinkles. We start to get jowls, but not everyone. So that's actually going to be on my next slide. A lot of times, you guys have probably seen this photo, a lot of times we think this is what aging is. When we're youthful, we're young, we have that perfect V-shaped face, we have a lot of fat in the face, but it's primarily in the upper face where it should be, and as we age, it starts to dramatically change, right? We start to get hollow around the eyes, we start to get hollow around the forehead, and we start to get jowls. So because of gravity and because of the way the face is changing, we start to get that inverted V, but not everyone. So this is the question I have for you guys, because it's so important, is do you guys know, one, what kind of ager you are, but more importantly, what kind of ager is your patient sitting across from you in a consultation? Because the approach to treating them, to making them happy, and to making them look better is going to be very, very, very different depending on the patient that's sitting across from you. Who knows what kind of ager they are? Not very many. That means you probably don't know what type of ager your patient is. So we'll go through the 3. I can't go into too much detail, again, because of time, but it's just something incredibly important to know. So 3 types of aging. It doesn't mean that everyone is exactly one thing. A lot of times it's a combination of 2, but this is the typical. One is a sinker. A sinker doesn't have that inverted V, right? It's a lot of volume loss, so you can visually see that she is going to need, maybe injectables, a biostimulator, a cross-linked HA, but the big thing is how thin her skin is. So it's not just filling the area. If you just fill her face, what's gonna happen? She's gonna have an unnatural appearance. So you're gonna have things that also thicken the skin to make sure that we're changing it for the better and having a natural approach. Secondly, a Sagger. That is myself. That is my whole family, by the way. If you know what your mom is, if you know what your grandma is, a lot of times that's what you are, or on your father's side. The reason why I'm a Sagger, I know, is because I'm very, very, very oily. Most all oily skin patients, so if they're 30, and you're wanting to do anti-aging for them, and they know they're oily, they are going to know that, you're gonna know that they are gonna keep their skin really nice and thick as they age because of all of that oil. Oil helps keep the integrity of the skin and it keeps it thick. However, we still age. So what's gonna happen is everything starts to kind of sag down. We are susceptible to jowling. So would you now, thinking about this, treat a sinker the same way you would treat a Sagger? No, not at all. It's a completely different approach. Another tidbit on a Sagger is most darker skin clientele are going to fit in this range too as a Sagger, because they have so much melanin production. They actually have kind of natural sunscreen built into their skin, and they are lucky in terms of they're gonna keep thick skin throughout their life. So a lot of times your darker skin type 4s, 5s, and 6s, end up as a Sagger. And the last one, a Wrinkler. Do you guys know who her daughter is? Maria Shriver. So if you picture that, Maria Shriver is also a wrinkler. So again, it usually falls in line with your mom, with your grandma, with your family. But a wrinkler, pretty self-explanatory, very deep, deep, deep wrinkles will start to present at a certain age. So super important to know what type of ager are they, and even know when they're younger. Try to know when they're 30 and they're wanting to do prejuvenation with you. Make sure that you guys have those patient intake forms to ask questions. You know, do you have oily skin? Do you have dry skin? Do you know how your parents are aging? Know the details, because you'll be able to keep those patients really happy throughout their life and their time with you. So the technologies that I'm going to be going through, because we're going to talk about a combination approach to these types of agers. First, I'm going to be talking about the staples. Why do I call these the staples? They're just a staple within a practice. And the reason being is they're boosting the results that you're doing. So you guys may have radio frequency, you're getting really good results, but when you start to partner these things together with the radio frequency, with the laser, with the IPL, the results are tremendous. So what does this mean? It means that the patient is seeing results quicker, faster, they're not needing as many treatments, therefore they're a lot happier, right? They're starting to notice a huge difference within a month. And that's when they're starting to talk to their friends and family, like, oh my goodness, this is a huge change to my skin. And the only way of doing this is thinking about it at a combination approach. Why? I'm gonna break that down by going through all of the cells and the layers of the skin and how they're very, very different and how they need different technologies and different love. So the Pristine is our diamond tip microdermabrasion. That is going to be an exfoliation process. Why is that important? It's prepping the skin for everything else that you're doing. It has a vacuum. The vacuum is increasing circulation, therefore increasing oxygen and nutrients to the tissue. So immediately you actually have healthy tissue to work with, because the blood flow is in the area. Therefore, radio frequency is gonna respond better. Laser is gonna respond better. Anything else that you're doing is gonna respond better. Moreover, it's removing part of the stratum corneum. I'm gonna be going through kind of a skin 101 tomorrow, talking about how many dead skin layers that we have and why it's kind of complicated as we age, because there's more and more that gets built up. So if we're able to remove some of those, then we get a better absorption of everything else that we're doing, especially light-based treatments, because light naturally scatters off of the skin, but if there's a lot of dead skin buildup, we have even more light scatter. So there, it's problematic. So you're just prepping the skin, takes 5 minutes, making the skin really nice and healthy. Now we can go in with our more aggressive technology. Dermafuse is electroporation. I know we spoke about it already a bit today, but that electroporation is creating those microchannels in the skin and infusing serums with vitamins and minerals and just making the skin healthier. So for example, we have a serum called Collagen Booster. Collagen Booster has ingredients that fibroblast cells actually need to produce collagen. Let's pretend like none of us were getting vitamin C in our diet. We would end up with scurvy. We would end up with the issue of our body actually not being able to produce collagen. So we're putting ingredients like that, vitamin C, iron, the ingredients that a fibroblast cell has to have to produce collagen. So not only are we telling the cells, hey, get a jump start, wake up, produce collagen, but it's to produce healthy collagen. So you can picture that. We prep the skin with the Pristine, we do radio frequency, so we're stimulating fibroblast cells, then we're going into the fibroblast cell and telling it not only to produce collagen, produce really healthy collagen, produce really healthy elastin. Results are just that much better. But we have lots of serums with the Dermafuse, so lots of different combinations that you can do. These are the technologies I'm going to be talking about when we're going into the next slides. V-form, I'm really not going to be talking about the body today just because it is Dental Beauty Boss, so I'm going to kind of be focusing neck up. But the V-form is radio frequency with vacuum. So it has the ability of, yes, stimulating collagen, but it also has the ability of going deeper into the fat to shrink fat cells. So think of your Saggers. This is beautiful for your Saggers that have jowls. Next one is the VST, which is bipolar radiofrequency. It also is heat-based, so it's going in and stimulating fibroblast cells. Next one over is our VFR. I cannot sing this from the rooftops more of it's the technology that completely transforms somebody's skin, especially if you have maybe an older clientele that comes in and they're in their 60s or 70s and they've just never done anything to their skin. And a lot of times what I hear from those clients is, it's just too late for me. I'm not gonna have surgery, but it's too late for me. No. This is the technology that kind of does it all because it is a resurfacing technology, plus it goes deep for tightening. It's addressing resurfacing texture, pigment, deep, fine lines, wrinkles, laxity. So we'll talk about that one. Next one is IPL. The way I'm gonna be speaking about IPL, because the IPL does a lot. We know it does hair removal and acne clearance and pigmented lesions and vascular lesions and skin rejuvenation. But the way I'm gonna be talking about it is for pigment or vascular or skin rejuvenation, again, because we're talking about neck up. And then the long pulsed Nd:YAG, which I actually didn't include that too much. Oops, sorry guys. All right, so now I wanna be a little bit interactive. This may be a typical patient that comes in. What do you guys see here? What is causing her to look aged? Wrinkles, good. Sun damage, good. Texture. This is really good that you guys can like visually look and it's not just wrinkles. You have to look at the skin as a whole. There's a lot of things going on. So we have laxity, hooded lids. I don't know why that's so light. I hope you guys can read it. It wasn't on my, on my computer. Fine lines and wrinkles. We have, somebody said sunspots. We have solar lentigo. I think someone said texture, really, really good. By the way, if somebody has fine lines and wrinkles, they're always gonna have textural problems. Look at them closely. There's always texture with fine lines and wrinkles, so it kind of goes hand in hand. Jowls, not too bad, but she is starting to kind of pre-jowl. You can tell she has pretty thick skin, so most likely if she doesn't have bad jowls now, she probably will in the next 5 to 10 years. And then dull and dry skin, and this will really make sense tomorrow when I go through the Skin 101, is why does somebody in their 60s, 70s, 80s typically look like they have dull, dry skin compared to somebody in their 20s? And it's just because our cells really slow down and they're not turning over as fast as we need them to. Okay, so there's a lot going on. Now we have to think, if she wants to look younger, let's say they come in, I still want to look like myself. I don't want to change. I'm obviously not coming into a plastic surgeon and wanting to cut and lift and so on and so forth. I still want to look like myself. I just want to look more youthful. So how do we do that? Remember, know what type of ager they are and really look at their issues. What are you seeing here? Now let's break down, where are these issues originating? Why can we do a combination approach so safely? So we'll break down the layers of the skin. Where are these problems originating? Dull skin, it's going to originate more superficial in the epidermis. Textural problems. Textural problems are typically always in the epidermis. So these two things are superficial. What else is superficial? Typically always is solar lentigo. Do you guys know why pigment issues are superficial? Do you guys know where our melanocytes are? Melanocytes, that's what produces melanin, produces pigment. Yeah, it's in the epidermis. And it's there for a reason. So our melanocytes are right at the bottom of the epidermis. Why is that? If we think about different areas of the world, let's take Africa. Africa is really sunny, really hot, not a lot of rain, not a lot of snow. They need a lot of protection from the sun. Melanocytes are at the bottom of the epidermis to produce that pigment for them, so it protects their deeper layers of their skin. It protects kind of the main part of the skin, the main dermis, where all of the structure is. So whenever you see someone with sunspots, just immediately think those are superficial. It's gonna help you in how you're doing your treatments. Sometimes it gets more tricky with melasma. Melasma can be dermal as well, but let's just pretend like overall just regular sun damage. Always think about that as superficial. Laxity and hooded lids, this is where we're going deeper. So if they have laxity, if they have hooded lids, if they have fine lines and wrinkles, that's going to be in the dermis because that's where our collagen and elastin is. So always originating. Now, it also varies on how deep are those lines, how deep are those wrinkles. Sometimes they're only reaching into the papillary dermis, which is pretty superficial, but sometimes they're reaching deeper into the reticular dermis, and that's where it's a little bit more complicated, and that's when you can really kind of give it a punch and use a combination approach. Dry skin. Why is dry skin deep? Exactly. All of that is so much deeper. But additionally, glycosaminoglycans, one of my favorite things on the planet. And I cannot wait to talk about this tomorrow. I have a whole slide on glycosaminoglycans. The shortened version of that are GAGs. That's what HA is. That's what hyaluronic acid is that substance. It's the ground substance of the dermis. It is just as important as collagen elastin. And if you keep that up and you keep that abundant, they are going to just naturally look a lot more youthful. So don't just think of collagen elastin. Always consider your glycosaminoglycans too, because they're just as important. Jowls. Jowls are two problems, not just fat, not just loose skin. It's the two in combination with one another. So if somebody has jowls and you went in to just tighten their skin, are they going to truly be happy? No, because there's the fat issue. So you have to be able to shrink the fat and tighten the skin. Okay, so now I'm starting to run out of time. I'm going to speed up. What is our approach? So our epidermis approach for aging skin is, of course, the pristine. 5-minute quick treatment, remove the dead skin cells, get the blood flow going, get oxygen and nutrients to the tissue, make it healthy. Okay, great. Now we're ready for everything else that we're going to do. We're going to take the IPL, and that's where we're going to target the pigmented issues. And I'm using this as an example of the woman we just saw. This is everything you can do in the same day. So then we're using the IPL to target the melanocyte and the pigment problems. Then we're using the VFR to target her overall texture and that kind of like dull appearance to her skin. This isn't the order you're doing it in, by the way. That's going to be the next slide. ST is where we're going deep into the dermis. So remember, she had laxity to her lids. This would be the ST to tighten that, maybe around the mouth a bit, maybe on her lips to give her a natural lip plump, because we know everything ages, including our lips. We start to lose volume. Then the V form to go in and shrink the fat in the jowling area and tighten the skin. And then lastly, we can boost our results with the Dermafuse. How would I use the Dermafuse? I would probably use 2 to 3 serums on her. I would probably do, actually, what I would do is I would do the pristine, prep the skin. Then I would do Dermafuse intensive hydration because I'm putting HA into her skin. Then the radio frequency in the IPL is going to be more attracted to her tissue because it's more hydrated. So then I'd do all the RF and the IPL. Then I would go in and boost with the Dermafuse collagen booster. Or I may use like the lipo-elim on the lower face, which helps speed up lipolysis. So it's going to help the fat in the area, especially if they're pretty heavy, like a really heavy Sagger. Lipo-elim is going to be great for them. So you can always do a combination with the Dermafuse. Just don't mix your serums. Do them separately. But you could do as many as you want. So this is in order of what you would do. Except for I wish I would have put Dermafuse intensive hydration right after pristine. So just make a mental note of that. I hope you guys all have the Dermafuse. If you don't, you have to get it. It's amazing. So make a mental note, Dermafuse intensive hydration right after pristine. So this would be the order. It's incredibly safe. Why? Because we're targeting totally different depths of the skin, and we're targeting totally different cells. There's so many cells in our skin, and that's why it's safe. Now, a combination approach is not just for aging. I'm running out of time, so if you guys want to take a picture of this, but it's not just for aging. It's for active acne. It's for acne scarring. It's for anything that you're doing outside of like hair removal. Of course, hair removal will just kill the hair follicles. But everything else, think about it as a combination approach. Active acne, there's a lot going on there. There's dead skin cells that are creating a plug over a pore, therefore there's a breeding ground for bacteria. Then there's active acne deeper. So we need to kill that, we need to get rid of the layers of the skin that are creating the plugs over the pore and creating the problem that is making acne originate. So everything that you're doing, combination approach. Now I want to tell you guys something. In your bags, we created the ultimate guides for combination approach, for face, for body, so you have those in there. Little cheat sheets, little guides. So this one is the sequential combination guide. This is the question of, wait, when do I use ST? Do I use it before VFR? Do I use it before IPL or after? We get those questions a lot. That's what this is for. So for safety, which ones do I use in what order? You guys may have all of our technology. So you may have 4 technologies that treat fine lines and wrinkles. Which one's better? So this one is kind of a star system on amazing for a certain condition and, good, but maybe not the best. So that should be helpful if you have a lot of our technology. Face combination quick guide for different things like melasma, for dark circles, for scars, what to combine, what order to use. Same with the body. Comprehensive combination quick guide. This is the patient that has a wedding in 4 months and they're just coming to you. And they're like, look, I want to take 10 years off of my face. Okay, we got to really get in there and do a dramatic combination approach. That's what this quick guide is for, people that want it now. And then if you guys have the Interjet, to be able to combine the Interjet with the V-Series, that's what this one is for. But you guys should have a lot of those in there. And then this is a visual one from the slides that we did, and what order would you use it, but from a visual standpoint. And I'm just gonna go through those before and afters, but yeah, that is it. Thank you guys so much.